Go.
Hi there. First thing I want to do is introduce myself. I'm Michelle Shelley Mechie of Corey's Network. I'm the president and co-founder. And behind the camera is Bob Norris. He'll probably be silent. We call him Silent Bob. I'm here today with Jenny Donaldson. First thing I need to let you know, though, is I'm sorry that we have not made one of these shows yet or these interviews yet. We have been sick with bronchitis and gout and all types of other things throughout our household, making it impossible for us to do an interview. Not to mention dangerous for other people if they didn't want to catch any kind of illnesses or anything like that. We are going to get back on top of this. So if you want to be interviewed by Corey's Network and you have a homicide that is unsolved in the Kansas City metropolitan area, please contact us. Today we are doing our interview here at our home in Independence because Jenny is very familiar with our home and our family. We are willing to come to your home. We're willing to come to your neighborhood. We're willing to come to the scene of the crime, wherever you would like us to meet you. And we will ask you questions about your family and give you some time to be able to talk to them or talk to the community and let people know who your loved one was so that the community will be able to share in on how you're feeling and understand and grow some empathy for some homicide survivors. So the first thing I want to do is can you please introduce yourself and let us know who you're representing today?
Okay, my name is Jenny Donaldson and I'm representing my son Chad Donaldson. He was murdered December 22nd, 2014 in Belton. His homicide is not solved. There isn't, of course, a whole lot I can share about the case. I don't really know that much because they don't really share a lot with us as part of the requirements of the investigation, but I think that's all I can think to say.
Okay, how old was he?
He was 36 years old.
36 years old, and he was walking home from Quick Trip, wasn't he?
Right, uh-huh.
And he was shot?
Yes, he was shot.
And do they have many leads at this point, or do you have any idea?
I don't know, but I don't think so. They never have identified a person of interest, so it doesn't sound like it. And I've been told that there have been a lot of leads through the TIPS hotline, but a lot of them are the same leads over and over again that they've already followed through and didn't pan out. So
okay, and at this point, the reward is standing at $4,000.
Right.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody does have information about the Chad Donaldson homicide in Belton on December 22nd, 2014, then they would contact 816-474-TIPS. And then that way people will be able to get some information. Hopefully the right person will be able to contact someone. And $4,000 may not seem like a lot right now, but it would definitely pay for some heating bills that are coming up, or some rent if you happen to be someone that needs to be out on your own, or pay for diapers or anything else. So please come forward. And if you don't come forward for the money, come forward because it's the right thing to do. So I want to know a couple of things. I want you to tell me some things about them, about Chad. What role did Chad play in your family?
Well, he was my oldest son, and like any oldest child in the birth lineup, he was always very involved in what we were doing, always very aware of what was going on. He was always extremely compassionate. As far as his role in the family, I guess he was the big brother to his brother John, his younger brother. Like I said, he was the oldest son. He just kind of kept things going. You know, there were times that I just kind of wanted to shut down and quit for the evening, and he just never let me quit. And I always kind of really appreciated that because it always helped me along to have to keep on going. So.
Very good. What did he like to do? I know he liked to fish.
Yes,
right?
That was his number one, was fish. But ever since childhood, just being out in nature was important to him. He loved to walk. He loved to hike. Yes, he fished and fished and fished. He liked to find mushrooms. At one point, he got the wrong mushrooms, and we all ended up at the emergency room.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah. So we teased him a lot about that he tried to poison his family.
I'm sure it was not on purpose.
No, not at all. But he also, through the years, he developed a big interest in astronomy. And it was kind of amazing to me. He could not only tell you the lineups of the planets and all that, but how many moons and what the atmospheric atmosphere, of each planet consisted of, and the annual average temperature, and I mean, just really intimate details. So
that's neat. And I know that you've made a very special monument to him in somewhere like his favorite fishing place or something like that.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and who made that for him?
Yeah, it was his father and his stepmom who made that, and that was Chad's very favorite fishing spot. It's along the Missouri River, and it's north of the river. It's right off of North Brighton, and it's across, and then it's got some fishing lures of his on there. It's got pictures that they put on there. As the pictures fade, they replace them ever so often, and they keep it decorated year round for whatever season we're into now, whether we're talking Christmas or St. Patrick's Day or Easter or just summer, you know. So it's something that's been a real therapeutic for his father. And one day I was thrilled when I got on Facebook and I saw somebody that I don't know and I don't believe Chad knew posing in front of the memorial.
That's neat.
Yeah, they just happened to find it and posted it on Facebook. So
That's really nice when you can connect with somebody
right.
that isn't in your family, but they understand how important that is to you.
Well, and what was really cool about that was this young man was just vibrant and happy and alive, and I don't know, I just really liked seeing that standing in front of Chad's memorial. So.
And didn't he also connect with a lot of the kids in his neighborhood?
He did, yeah. He was I don't know if he'd be a big brother figure or father figure, but he had a lot of friends who were single moms, and I know that he really filled that role for a lot of kids, and the kids just loved him to pieces. I know a couple of them specifically had to have some grief therapy after he died, but he would take them fishing. He would show them how to help them bait the hooks and get the fish pulled in and take them off and this and that and the other, and so it was very much appreciated both by the kids that he took fishing as well as their parents.
That's awesome. He sounds like somebody I would really like to know.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a job did he have? Did he have a job or?
He did. He was self-employed with landscaping type work. So
yeah, I would definitely have liked him to do my backyard.
He would have done a great job. And there again, out in nature, that's where he was the happiest.
Can I ask you, because it sounds like you were very close, how has this homicide affected your family?
It's about killed us, to be honest. We're kind of, I guess, collateral damage, but it's affected all of us a little bit differently. With me, I've always struggled with depression anyway, and I've been trying to get out of the depression and just not quite able to climb out of it, even after it's been 3 years and 9 months and 4 days, and I'm still struggling with it, despite having therapy and taking medication and treatments and that type of thing. Chad's father is a typical male in that he's not going to go for the therapy, but like I said, his big therapy is at memorial, but he's also just kind of become a little bitter in some ways about it. His brother really withdrew into himself for the first 2 years. He just wouldn't talk to us. He wouldn't really communicate. He wouldn't answer the phone half the time. And I would try to talk to him about how worried I was about him, and he just would get mad if I said anything, and then, but he is kind of turned things around. He's fallen in love, and I'm so glad he has, and I wish Chad was here. Actually, they set their wedding date for next September. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very good. I'm very pleased for that. What do you do to honor your son or to remember him as far as you? I know that his father has made the memorial, but what do you do to honor him and to remember him?
Well, for one thing, just internally, he's always with me. Every day, every minute. He never leaves my mind. But then I've also been to crime victims vigils. It feels really powerful to be able to just say his name out loud. And the different news stations have interviewed me a few times through the years, and anytime I'm offered that kind of opportunity, I grab it because I really want to keep his name out there. Since this case is unsolved, I still have high hope it'll.
Oh, okay, then.
How has your mental and your physical health been affected?
Well, like I said, the depression has just really bottomed out. Physically, I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm 64, so I'm starting to age, and so age is catching up with me. But yeah, really, it's mainly the mental health. It's just the depression, and on one hand, I've been so grateful. I feel like I've done a lot of growing during this time, but I also still miss him every day, and just still don't understand why. That's one of the unanswerable questions of life, but I still just find myself getting stuck in, but why? So,
do you think even if you found the person who killed him, you'd ever have that answer?
probably not, but at least I would know who. Right now I need to know what and who and why, and at least I can know who.
If you can find that out, that would be something to at least have some power over.
Yeah, I think it would. I don't want to have false hopes or false expectations. I mean, I know that if they caught the person and the person was convicted and went to prison for life or whatever, that wouldn't bring Chad back, and it wouldn't make this not hurt every bit as much as it's been hurting all along anyway. But I do think that it would have to help somewhat, because I've noticed that with grief there's so many different layers, and that would be one layer that would be removed from what I'm going through.
Well, and I know for the 3.5 years we were looking for Corey's killer, one of our worst concerns was maybe meeting them in public somewhere. Is that something that you worry about?
Not really. His murder, Chad's murder, occurred in Belton, and he was living with me at the time. And since then, I've moved away from Belton. So, a couple of people that I've kind of wondered, I don't really have any contact with them. Actually, they pretty much stayed away from me anyway from the get-go. A lot of Chad's friends throughout this time have contacted me and kept in touch, just wanting to know what's going on and to let them know that they still care and that they still remember Chad. But the couple of people that I've wondered have not even tried to get in touch with me. And I think if I ran into him on the street, I'd probably just say, "Hey, how you doing? Bye." I mean, just keep it casual. And I just don't want to do anything. I'm super cautious about not wanting to do anything that could interfere with the investigation.
Do you think your movement from Belton to your new home, and I'm not going to divulge where that might be, but do you think that was part of your self-care?
Absolutely. He was shot, like you said, walking home from Quick Trip, and I didn't see him on the street, but I read the police report. I know exactly where it happened, and there was a period of time, I stayed in Belton for a couple of years, and then there was a period of time that they were working on the bridge down the street from our house, so I had to go the other way. And so every day I drove past that spot. And even though I never saw him there, in my mind's eye I could imagine, and think about it. And I just, after about a couple weeks of that, I just said, I can't do this anymore. I've got to move, and I don't regret it one bit. I'm really glad to be away from there. Not that Belton's a bad place at all, but, it was a change that, I needed for me.
So one of the things that you might suggest for other people going through this would be changing something in your patterns as far as a tradition or where you live or how you handle your daily life or your schedule, etc. Is that what I should take away from that?
Yeah, I would say so. I know that for everybody, everyone's different. For example, I know that when I couldn't stand driving by the site where it happened, other people will put memorials up at the site where that kind of thing happened. And so there again, it's just totally individualized, but yeah, you can't, I don't think anyone can just sit there and just not do anything. I mean, even like his dad with the memorial, or, develop new rituals or something. So for me, though, it's the support groups and the candle lights and the vigils and all that is part of what's really helped me get through this.
The next question that I would like to ask is, how has this affected your spiritual health?
I've actually grown in my spiritual health.
How so?
Well, in the hospital, I'm active in church. I'm a Christian. And in the hospital, he was in surgery for like 3.5 hours. And then he came out of surgery, and the surgeon came and told us that he had just stopped because Chad, he didn't want to give us false hope, but they'd lost Chad on the table several times. And I was just praying the whole time, just please, God, please don't take him. Please let him live. Please, Lord. And he died anyway. And that made me angry. I've had anger at God in the past, and I really didn't want to go there again, but I just couldn't help it. So there was a period of time that I'm on the prayer team at church, and I thought, why am I even doing this? Because if a person's fate is sealed anyway, what's the point in prayer? But then gradually, as time's gone on, I feel like God's blessed me in so many ways to help me get through it that really have helped me grow very much. One thing, I've never really been that much of a poet, but since Chad died, I've written tons of poems that just keep pouring out, and they're from my soul. I mean, they're from God, and they're from my soul, and they really help me to express in ways that I maybe couldn't otherwise. And then just recognizing all the wonderful people, the great friends of my own, the great friends of Chad's, who have also become great friends of mine, new people that I've met in my life. It's just been really amazing, the amount of support and love and care, that I've experienced. And so I've really managed to turn the corner on that to where I say, thank you, Lord, so much. And it took a long time to really be able to feel like Chad was at peace and that he was okay now, even though I had my beliefs and I never lost those beliefs. But now I'm also very grateful that I can really feel that he is happy where he is and that I will see him again.
I think sometimes it says more about your belief system when it's tested and you're still able to hold on to it than if you lose it in the process.
Right.
And it is easy to lose it because I know I felt that way myself. But I think it speaks volumes of your spiritual health that you were able to hold on to it even though you doubted and continue to grow. So who have you contacted for mental, physical, or spiritual help?
Well, I have a psychiatrist I follow up with. I've had therapy. Actually, I have an appointment. I had kind of dropped out of therapy for a while. I'm going back into it now. So 3 years, 9 months, and 5 days later, you still need it.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm finding. Spiritually, I've done a lot of reaching out. I am very active in the Compassionate Friends, and I think they're just such a wonderful organization. And Facebook has some Facebook pages that are dedicated to the specific types of death. So they're closed groups, and I'm on one that's the Facebook homicide, and the other one is the substance abuse issues group. And just reaching out to others, just saying, oh, I'm having a bad day. There's always someone there 24/7 that will respond, and oh, I know how you feel, and I'm going through the same thing, and then we kind of discuss our children, what happened, and the whys and the hows and the whatnots, and it's just been pretty phenomenal. And then Corey's network, I do have the dubious distinction of being your first client, and just being involved on the board in the annual vigil, it's all just been nothing but helpful to me. So I'm definitely, some people do clam up and close up, and I'm someone that really does reach out. And I thank God that I've had so many people that I could reach out to.
And we're very thankful to have you along with us.
Thank you.
It's been our distinct pleasure to have you as well. What do you want people to know most about Chad?
Just that he did not deserve to have this happen to him. He was a really good person. He helped a lot of people. He had a lot of friends. He really did a lot of good while he was here. And I think his legacy continues to live on, even though he's no longer here. I know that at his funeral, I didn't even realize how many people that he had helped, but that came up to me and said, 2 or 3 different people said, I wouldn't be here today, literally, if it wasn't for Chad. And it turned out that one of them, he had come by right in the middle of a suicide attempt, and another one he caught right in the middle of an accidental overdose. And they knew that Chad never judged, that they could always talk to him, that he understood them. He empathized and sympathized, and he just really had a great ministry going, is what he had. Nothing official, but, that's what it really was.
So it sounds like he was full of altruism also.
He was, yes.
Giving of himself without any expectation of receiving.
Right.
And that makes you very proud as a mother.
It does, very.
That you taught him your virtues and that he was bringing them on to other people as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I do know that you do have 2 books out.
Mm-hmm. I do.
That you are a published author. Would you like to tell us what the titles are and where we can find those?
Sure. The first one, they're both on Amazon. The first one is Thoughts and Poems of Chad, and the second one is More Poems and Thoughts of Chad. And the first one deals with his life up to his murder. The second one deals with my life since his murder. So, and I do go into great detail about the growth and the experiences and all that I've experienced since he died.
If you had one bit of wisdom that you could give to someone who's, just for example, we had 3 phone calls today to Corey's network for 3 more murder victims. And because you've been getting the text messages all day.
Right.
What would be the one thing that you would advise someone who is just now starting on this journey?
I think my advice would be, it's okay how you feel. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself cry. Let yourself scream. Whatever you need to do, do it. And inside what you need to do for you. I think that self-care is something that I've learned a lot about during this journey, and it's just vital. You can't just clam up or be quiet or say, oh well, no big deal. Not that they would, but you got to feel it. You can't skip over any of this.
And it doesn't all come in perfect stages.
No, it doesn't. No, I don't even refer to them as stages. I call them symptoms of grief.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Because some days you'll be happy and some days you'll be depressed and other days you'll be angry.
Right.
Etc.
And as time goes by, you learn that you can really actually have joy along with the grief. That the two can really coexist. At first it doesn't feel like that. It just felt, for me anyway, it felt like kind of like the end of the world and nothing was ever going to be okay again, and how am I going to get through this ever? But yeah, like I said, as time's gone by, and I'm not saying I'm finished with the journey yet, I'm still very much in there, but acceptance is my goal, just to be able to, there's nothing I can do to change what happened, and so I have to accept acceptance with also the knowledge that whatever I can do, I am and will doing. And are doing. And I am doing.
You said it very well.
Okay.
Do you have any questions that you like to ask?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being on.
Thank you for me.
If anyone has any information about Chad Donaldson's murder, again, that was December the 22nd, right before Christmas in 2014. It was in Belton, Missouri. So it was real close to the Quick Trip over in that area. If you have any information, please come forward. It's the right thing to do. It's not snitching. It's being a witness. And someone needs to come forward and give a mom like our Jenny here some kind of peace of mind of knowing who did this to her son. It's not going to fix everything, but it will at least fix that. We appreciate you being with us today, and we hope to see you at our next episode, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.